Ayo guys, imagine waking up to a dream harem like you have 5 beautiful girls all living under the same roof as you, and guess what? They are all into you. Sounds amazing, right? But hold up, I guess not technically, but they are your sisters, and nah, I don't want any part of this anymore. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, welcome to the Shiunji Family Children. This is one of the most twisted harem manga that I am forcing myself to read, not because it's bad, because of the way it makes me feel. Because are you feeling disgusted? Because that's the way I am feeling. And I truly believe that this is Reiji's intention with this story. This isn't your typical rom-com harem. It's messy, it's sorta taboo, it's sorta not, and honestly, it's pretty good and I can't stop looking at it, even though I'm saying I don't want to keep reading it. And yes, this is from the same mind that brought us Rent a Girlfriend, but hold up with the pitchforks, guys. This anime actually has a pretty positive reception going for it, even though the anime man admitted to liking the manga and he had to switch up as soon as he realized it's Reiji's work so all his friends won't pick on him all of a sudden. Hey yo guys, it's featured Dinky here. I'm just editing this in now because Mother's Basement has also released a video on the Shiunji family, and now I expect more people to hate on it because someone wants to undermine the series just because of the author, and that's just not fair. Let's give this an honest chance. And then another thing I heard is that some people saying that this is better than Rent a Girlfriend, so as a longtime defender of Rent a Girlfriend, I had to ask, is this worth the emotional damage and is this actually better? So I went ahead and did my due diligence and watched the anime's first season and read all the way through the latest chapters, so yes, there are spoilers up ahead, so you have been warned. We have our main protagonist, Arata Shiunji, heir to the massive Shiunji estate. He lives in a rich household with his 5 beautiful sisters and 1 younger brother, but here's the bomb. They actually don't know that they're all not blood related except for the twins. No, not those twins, these twins. There's actually 2 sets of twins, that's kind of confusing, but one's blood related and one isn't. And then enters their father, Kaname Shiunji, who's basically like Elon Musk in this world because he even bought Twitter and renamed it to K in this world. I don't know, something about this just made me laugh. And well, he made a promise to his deceased wife to tell the kids the truth about their lineage when they're of age, and he does it during the most vulnerable point of their life, you know, with all their crazy hormones acting up. He does this during the youngest daughter's birthday, her 15th birthday, and basically tells them all, hey, actually, you guys are all adopted. Haha, isn't that funny? Okay, now anything goes on from here on out because I'm never here, and it just really feels like a big setup. But the setup is for later, but this really shatters their sense of identity except for Kotono, the youngest sister, who has already made her move on her big brother Arata. She is the only one that's thrilled about this because now her love for her big brother Arata is fair game. But this fair game quickly turns into a battle because now she has to battle her sisters for her brother's love, and now you're telling me this is a rom-com harem? This is a sick joke, right guys? This really reminds me of a couple of cuckoos, which was already making me feel really uncomfortable whenever Nagi started considering his sister Sachi, who's technically not his blood sister anymore because they're not really related, as a serious love interest. Well, this is that, but times 5. And if you guys ever watched my A Couple of Cuckoos video, you know that I condemn that series, so I'm gonna have no choice but to also condemn this series. That's if the main characters actually pick the person that used to be their sister. It's really looking really tough for Arata. It really feels like a big old setup, but you know, Nagi, you can't mess this up. Pick one of the other 2 girls. Pick one of the other girls that was not your sister. Because I'm still not gonna give up on Arata. He might still make the right choice because these siblings grew up as family, and now it's like the story's going, well, what if they aren't? You can't do that. This is where the discomfort kicks in. Even though they are not blood related, these are relationships built on years of sibling dynamics. Every romantic ship feels like a betrayal of that bond and really tests your moral compass. And this is where Arata actually kinda shines, and I want to put some emphasis on kinda, and I'll explain that as it goes. I do believe he's the reason why a lot of people like this more than Rent a Girlfriend, because he's the complete opposite of Kazuya, at least at the introduction of these series. Like, come on, he's tall, athletic, rich. Actually, I'm not too completely sure about this. Well, for sure he's gonna be richer, but Kazuya is still doing pretty well for himself since he's gonna be taking on the family business as well, and he's really reliable to begin the series because he doesn't really flinch at conflict. He really is the big brother hero to his siblings, and it's because he genuinely cares about his siblings, like a real deep care. None of this like, oh, I'm confused and I'm falling in love with them. Like, no, it's none of that. He's not out here being a nervous wreck, well, a complete nervous wreck. He's still very tropey, that he has the issue that he doesn't know how to talk to girls, and then he can't understand his sister's feelings, especially when it's towards him. But I will tie that to him just wanting to be ignorant about all those feelings because he wants to keep his family stable. This truth really shook the family, and he's the glue trying to keep it all together. I kind of went on a little tangent there. He's still a nervous wreck because he does have a crush at school, but unfortunately for him, she's taken, but he never actually had the confidence to go up to talk to her. All in all, he's a very good dude, but meanwhile, his sisters are beginning to move in one by one. Like I said before, we already have Kotono, who's open about being in love with her big brother Arata, and then all the sisters follow suit, but they do it in secret and start behaving differently around Arata. We immediately have Seiha begin experimenting with Arata to see if he is to be trusted around the sisters, since now, you know, sex is on the table since they're not all blood related. But her experiments are too in your face, and it kind of makes you think if this is really for Arata or is it for her. Then we have Ouka, his presumed twin that isn't his twin anymore, ends up developing a puppy love where she's always wanting to be around him. We also have Minimi start dressing more feminine and other things to catch his eye because that's not usually her thing. She's the sporty, more tomboy girl. And then finally, Bonnery is always a little too affectionate with her little brother to the point where it's like she's flirting with him and kind of just, you know, riling him up because, you know, she's very mature and very busty, and that makes him really uncomfortable. Like, Jesus Christ, that recoil in the opening? She got me like a deer in headlights. Like, that was it for me. She was best girl immediately. And that's Arata's biggest problem. He is failing from success. The guy can't catch a break. He's just trying to be a good brother, and now 4 of the 5 sisters are in love with him kind of openly, except for Bonnery. Her arc is still ongoing, but it's obvious that she's going to confess soon. So it's going to be 5 for 5, and then what, all hell is going to break loose? But despite all the discomfort, Reiji is cooking when it comes to character arcs. He really fleshes out the characters and gives all these characters some heart, some more than others, but it's really there. We explore some of the main themes like the shock of finding out that your family is not blood related through some of the characters, specifically Ouka. She runs away there in an arc to go visit a shrine because she heard the rumors that you can talk to a past loved one, and she wants to talk to her mother after learning she's adopted because she just feels like she lost her identity. And throughout all this and all the difficulty, she ends up getting lost. You know, she twists her ankle falling down the mountain. Fortunately for her, her now removed twin brother Arata actually understands how she's feeling because he knows how shocking this is, and just by fate actually finds her lost in that mountain even through all the fog. And another reason why this moment is significant because her father met their mother, I believe, in the same mountain, which signifies that Ouka found her true love, and it happens to be once again her brother Arata. And we're not done yet with Ouka, but we're gonna move on to Minimi, who's injured and having self-doubt about her tennis club activities. And once again, Arata is here to support her and erase those doubts. And now we're kind of venturing into manga territory where Seiha is getting harassed at school to the point where there's like a fake profile of her made up by the students, basically implying that she's prostituting herself online, which leads to her almost being assaulted in public. And once again, Arata is here for the rescue. And finally, best girl Bonnery, we learn, is studying to be a nurse to help out children like she was helped out when she was a little girl. Oh, and she's also stuck in an abusive relationship, and Arata just comes in and fucking rocks that loser's shit. I'm telling you, Arata is a great fucking guy. He's the kind of guy you wish Kazi could be all the time. Kazi still has his moments, okay, but you know, they're just really buried and hard to see if you're not really reading the manga. And through it all, unfortunately, Arata is like painfully aware and conscious of all these differences that their sisters are doing, but he never acts with any ulterior motives. He just wants his family to stay whole, but the more he tries to be the ideal brother, the more his sisters twist that into something romantic. But I do want to focus on the most awkward interaction, and it's definitely Kotono, the little sister. She's the only sister that is openly in love with Arata. The whole family knows. They try to wave it off as, you know, like she's just confused, but now that it's fair game, they're not sure what to do. Especially Arata, who I said is painfully aware that all his sisters are slowly falling in love with him, even though he's kind of in denial about it. Like, for example, Kotono asks him out and he agrees, but not as a date in mind, even though that's what Kotono's trying to do, but because she's the youngest and she feels left out of the family, which we'll get to in just a bit. So they head over to an amusement park that she's been interested to go, and Kotono is all in. She is dressed maturely, she has makeup on, and making it clear that this is not just a sibling outing. Arata, meanwhile, is desperately trying to see this as just him being a good brother taking his little sister out. And she continues to push boundaries to the point of taking her to tears that her big brother won't notice her, and him admitting that she is a beautiful and captivating woman, but at the end of the day, it's still his little sister. He still even mentions how she inherited her mother's fair skin, even though they're not actually biologically related. He's not trying to be some sleazy guy to take advantage of his situation, and then even then, Kotono goes in and steals a kiss from him. Oh! Instead of Arata actually being flustered by it, he's just kind of like, is this my life now? Like, he's not even, I don't want to say that he wasn't moved, but it wasn't something like, oh shit, am I getting feelings for my sister? At least it doesn't look like it when you look at this panel. Especially when we compare it to his other sister, which we're gonna get to right now, because that's the core tension of the story. Arata is trying to be the best brother he can be, while every sister is slowly unraveling around him with confusing and emotional feelings. I know if that made sense, that sounds kind of redundant, but whatever, I'm pushing forward. Because when we found out that Arata saved Ouka in that mountain, that she basically found the love of her life, she makes a confession to him. This happens when Arata is assumed dead asleep because he's going through a really hard fever, so Ouka takes his chance to openly confess, admitting that she's been having these strong feelings towards him since she was little, and also taking advantage of the moment, kisses Arata on the lips while he's, presumably knocked out. And of course, so easy to predict, Arata is actually awake and fully conscious of this and is freaking out from the confession and the kiss. And rightfully so, because a couple months ago, they were not aware that they were adopted, so they've been under the impression they've been twin brother and sister for like their whole lives. And if that's not enough, Minami, Ouka, and then Kotono have an open discussion of how they are all in love with him, and of course Arata is there to eavesdrop and hear it all. But wait, there's more, because in the manga, Seiha has already confessed openly towards Arata. So at this state of the manga, 4 sisters have indirectly and directly confessed. And Bonri's basically next, because we're already in the middle or towards the end of her arc, and she's already hovering at like 99% confession the way she acts towards him. So soon he's going to be fine for 5, and then all hell is going to break loose. And as I lay this all out for you, doesn't this feel really uncomfortable? Like, imagine being in his shoes. And I believe that this is Reiji's intention. Yen Press even markets the series with this quote: "The love between brother and sister, the love between man and woman, that which is most forbidding is most unyielding." They know that these topics are taboo. And I know this is not a new thing to explore in Japan, because they have a lot of manga that explores this kind of genre, and it's usually even more, out there. I don't even know why I'm beating around the bush. There's no secret that Japan has straight up incest manga out there, but this is not what this is. And I don't believe that this is a coward's attempt at incest love, because as I said, these relationships are built on years of sibling dynamics. I don't even understand how the hell we are even having this discussion of, oh, why are they even doing incest with extra steps? This is still not normal. This is still pushing boundaries, and that is the point of it. If they were truly siblings, it's sick, but now that there's a real moral conflict, it's still sick. And that is what Reiji is doing here. It's not incest without the incest, it's the test of family and morality. I'm gonna just take a moment to just say it's so hot in the summer. I don't have the windows open or the fan running because, I'm recording. So please like the video, because I am suffering right now. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty. I'm gonna assume that you hit the like button, so I'm gonna keep going with the video. So I really hope this ends with Arata choosing the correct morality. Up to now, he's avoided taking any romance seriously, and that might be the saving grace of the story. Yes, he has his moments where he has to fight impure thoughts because he is a teenager, and then we have like almost every character in the show saying, you know what? It's technically okay for you to date his sister, right? It's not wrong anymore. But he fights all those impure thoughts because he wants his family to stay a family. He's not an overtly horny character that's taking advantage of the moment, just thinking, which sister am I going to pick to be my bride? No, he's not that kind of character just yet. I am really hoping that he reconnects with his original crush from the beginning of the series, and this whole sister mess gets left behind. That is my prediction, but in reality, I know that it's a hopeless prediction. But to back up my own prediction, I think that this will be the only choice he has, because he doesn't really get to have many choices in this family, since he has to assume responsibility of the family business. So it would be really nice for him to make his own choice when it comes to the girl he's going to marry versus what's being handed to him essentially in this story, since the narration in the anime is basically hinting that yes, he's going to marry one of his sisters. And if that does become reality, I once again have no choice but condemn this series. But once we get to, I forget what episode, it's like chapter 13 in the manga, we get to the most cursed part, or maybe it's the saving grace of the series, because of course we don't know who he marries, but the anime heavily implies that it's one of the sisters, right? But I'm a little confused, because in the manga that I read, the final note says it's from your brother, but in the anime it says it's from your sibling. And then we have all the girls narrating the note that's being sent to all the siblings. So is this a retcon? Nah, I probably just read a really bad translation of the manga online. Ah, fuck, there's a car outside making too much noise. Man, fuck you. There's no need for a Toyota to be making this much noise. It's a Camry. story. And what makes this all even worse is at the end of the anime's first season, there's a hint that there's another blood-related sibling. Why was that not mentioned any earlier? Does the dad even know about this? At this point, we're gonna get like a weird Luke and Leia problem where, you know, they have this awkward, gross love thing, but then they actually find out that they're real siblings, and then I assume one of the sisters is gonna say, I knew the whole time that we were blood-related. Like, no, please keep that out of this. This is just feeling like a really gross setup by the dad because we don't know his intentions yet. He basically has a whole discussion with Arata saying that why not just settle down with one of your sisters? I am telling you, they are all trying to corrupt Arata, but the father's intentions are still really hidden to us. And the reason why I think his intentions are hidden because they feel wrong. He even has his children programmed for what they are going to do in their lives. Like, look at this panel. He basically has everyone's life set, like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and it's like, at this point, it feels like Bioshock when he has that discussion, like, hey Arata, would you just kindly pick a sister to wife? And it's like, oh no, don't do this. It's almost undeniable at this point that yes, he's going to marry one of his sisters, and like, why? Arata is such a cool, level-headed guy. He has so much conviction of keeping the family together, and that's why I also have the prediction that maybe he's not going to marry anybody, and that's gonna save the series. The series shouldn't go on for too long. It's assumed that it's going to go on for 13, maybe 14 volumes, so we'll find out sort of soon who he's going to pick as a wife. And if it does end up being a sister, oh my god, I'm just gonna have to take like a shower right after all that and just wash it all that nasty away. So you're probably thinking, Dinky, why are you even bothering reading this? And it's because the online consensus is that the show was pretty good, and yeah, I can back that up. It does have its heart, and the characters have their arcs and moments. Hell, I've even seen people say that this is better than Rent-a-Girlfriend, so another reason for me to kind of keep up with it and then compare the two, because of course I am the YouTube defender of Rent-a-Girlfriend. And shocker, no, I don't think that this is better. But I'm just gonna take a moment to play devil's advocate. So who do I think Arata will end up with? Looking at Arata's daughter, she looks a lot like Ouka, while his wife, who we are to believe is his wife, doesn't really look like Ouka, right? You would assume it's Bonri with a haircut, but it doesn't have her, like, you know, iconic long pony rat tail that she has. It's left up to us, the viewers, to assume, since it's a vague new hairstyle that makes it hard just to upright guess who it is, because then what's the mystery, right? But with the story giving Ouka more of the interaction, it really makes me believe it's going to be her. From her casually visiting his room prior to any confession, but then we have the fake out confession when they're at that little park, and then the real confession soon after that, and then her obsession with him being a heavy showcase in the anime. And then they have their odd twin connection because they're technically not blood-related siblings, adding on to them just being twistedly connected by fate because of it. I feel really wrong picking this one, but it really feels like that's what's being told to us by the anime and manga. But if you're asking me who's my favorite girl, I'm basic, it's Bonri. To me, she feels like the most alive character with goals, heart, and, you know, need I say more? But that doesn't mean I want her to win. Like I said, I would rather none of them win. So yeah, to wrap up all my thoughts, the series makes you feel these things that you don't want to feel. The characters are great, the story has emotional weight, Arata is the man that Kazuya was not in their introductions, but if this ends with him marrying one of the sisters, I am out. There's no way that I can accept that. Just because they're not blood related does not erase the years of sibling connection. Seriously, Reiji might be writing his best drama yet, but at what cost with that kind of conclusion? But if he pulls a bait and switch and brings back Arata's crush from school and he marries her, I will salute him. I will call him the GOAT. You really had us in the first half. I was sweating. And once again, I don't think this series is better than Rent-a-Girlfriend. Arata might be a better character than Kazuya to start the series, and yeah, I know that Rent-a-Girlfriend is a very slow-paced manga and a long series, but at least it doesn't have incest with extra steps in it. And I know I sound like such a total hypocrite there. I know, I just wanted to make that joke. And even if we get the bait and switch ending where no sisters are picked, I still don't know if I would put this above Rag, but we would have to wait and see how this, series progresses. But what do you guys think? Is the Shiunji Family Children genius or just straight up messed up? And also let me know your pick for the best girl in the series. I have the most basic one, but I want to see down below which of the 5 sisters is the most popular. And as always, if you made it this far into the video, please hit the like button, that would help me out so much. And why not subscribe? I suffered through this hot room just recording this, so I think I deserve it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you. One lucky subscriber will win this really sweaty shirt I'm wearing during this recording.